Aloha, and welcome to One in the Goddess. I'm Antion, and I'd like to welcome you to this wonderful scene right here on the beautiful island of Kauai, which is my home. You know, in Hawaii, there's a lot of magic, mystery, wonderful music and culture, and a lot of incredible things. And Kauai is one of the best places to find all those treasures. You might wonder what a nice English boy, or actually I'm half American, but I was born and brought up in England. You might wonder what a nice boy like me is doing here on the island of Kauai. Well, back in 1989, one day, a friend called me up and said, "Hey, pack your bags, we're going." I said, "Great, where are we going?" He said, "Kauai." I said, "Fantastic. Where's that?" He said, "It's in Hawaii." I said, "Okay, fine." So I came here, and I loved this place so much that the next year I brought my wife, Alondra, back, and she loved it. And we kept coming back every year, and finally we moved here. But before we moved here, we had a very interesting experience in the fall of 1991. We were over on Oahu at Waikiki Beach, and we happened to arrive at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel at just about 8 p.m., which is when the show starts there. Now, the Royal Hawaiian Hotel is one of those places, the showroom, the Monarch Room, has real big windows and doors, and you don't even have to pay to watch the show. You can just stand outside and see the whole thing. So we were standing there, and all of a sudden, I heard the beat of the pahu drum, which is a big hula drum. Boom, 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 boom. And I heard this voice start chanting in Hawaiian. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I went and looked, and there was this rather large Hawaiian lady. And she was chanting in such an incredible way. I'd never heard anything like it. And after a few seconds, some hula dancers came out and performed what's called hula kahiko, which is hula in the old style, the ancient style, that goes back hundreds of years. It was incredibly moving and incredibly powerful. And then after that, two guys came out, one with a bass and one with a guitar, and began to sing. These were the brothers Casimiro, one of the top acts in Hawaii. Well, I was totally moved by their music. It was so incredible, so rich, and it touched me so deeply. I was standing there with tears rolling down my cheeks, and I thought to myself, I don't care what this takes or what it costs. Somehow or other, I've got to get some of this for myself. Never ever thinking at the time that I'd actually be able to learn how to sing and play this kind of music and do those chants. So, this was really an eye-opener for me, because I never asked for this. You know, I was pretty content with the musical life I was leading at the time. I'd been studying Indian classical music and Gurbani Kirtan, which is Sikh sacred music. I've been doing that for 20 years. And I really wasn't looking for anything else, but all of a sudden the universe just dumped this whole new genre in my lap. So, about 2 years after that, Alondra and I moved to Kauai. And I began to look around for a teacher, because as I found out very quickly, in Hawaii, all the culture flows from the hula. The hula is the lifeblood or the soul of Hawaii nei. In the hula, the chants are for the hula, the music's for the hula, the legends are kept in the hula, both in chant and in dance. Even scientific knowledge and ancient techniques for such things as astronomy, canoe building, navigation, these things are held in the hula. So after some searching, I was able to find a young teacher, a man by the name of Blaine Kamalani, and he agreed to teach me Hawaiian chant, Hawaiian music, how to play for hula. And of course, being around a hula halau with all these dancers, most of whom were women, there was a lot I had to learn about the hula itself, even though I don't dance. It was just a part of a process to learn more and more about this incredibly rich culture. On this DVD, we're going to share some of the culture with you, as well as some wonderful views and scenes from the island of Kauai, which is an incredibly beautiful place. This is One in the Goddess.